We are making excuses, and we do it every day because it feels a lot better to shit on somebody else than look at yourself and shit on yourself. And by the way, this is one man's point of view. I don't look at anybody else. I have no fucking idea what you guys are up to. And I shit on myself every day. I critique everything I do. Everything is my fault, period, end of story. I can sit and dwell on all the things. Somebody hits me with a fucking car tomorrow, I'm like, fuck, I shouldn't have left the house that early. You get into that fucking mindset, I promise you shit changes. You need to fucking suffocate your bullshit. You're at this conference, that means you need to suffocate your bullshit, period. You either need to figure out who's holding you back and their judgment and go to them. I want you to get out of this fucking conference, go to your car, call your mom and say, fuck you. If she's the person that is suppressing you because she's miserable and misery loves company. I'm being dead serious with you. I understand it's not a popular thing to say. I understand, but there's only a couple things that I'm seeing in the world today, which is people aren't doing things because they're fearful of other people's judgments, which usually comes from parenting or environment or circumstance, and they're still keeping negative energy around them because they're obligated, and I get it. I have negative people in my life too that I keep around as well, but to let that dictate your only life is fucking ludicrous. And all I know, you know what? I'm gonna give you a real weird one. I want every person to do me a huge favor. If you really wanna know what's running through my fucking body, go volunteer at a nursing home for one day. Go volunteer at a nursing home for one day. Number one, it's just a nice thing to do and you'll probably feel pretty awesome about it. Number two, go talk to 8 people. 6, 4. You're gonna see something that is gonna scare the living shit out of you. It's called regret. Regret scares the shit out of me. Regret is the fuel besides gratitude that drives my life. You will see people and they will tell you things about the things they didn't do and the silliness to why they didn't do it, and they're running out of time. You sit in this room and you have time. You have time if you're 70, 80, 90, you have time if you're 15. You have time. But to sit and list all the reasons you can't is just, here's how I look at it. If anybody that looks like you has ever done it, then you can too. If some kid that grew up with 2 alcoholic parents, right, and grew up in an orphanage made it, then you can too. It's not necessarily that I don't believe in luck or circumstance, I believe in all of that. I understand that. This is not about that, it's about mindset. The second you start having losing mindset, you've already fucking lost. I love when people think shit like The Secret is real. It's not fucking real. Here's how it works, friends. If you actually are optimistic and you make a goal and your actions map to it, you miraculously get somewhere close to it. It's not sitting on your couch jerking off and saying, I wish I had $1 million. The amount of people talking big game in this office, clearly I use that a lot. The amount of people talking big game at this conference right now, where their ambitions don't match their actions. You know how many people roll around here and say they're gonna make $100 million a year and then take the whole weekend off and they have nothing going for themselves yet? Do you know how quiet my head is? Do you know how quiet my head is? My head is super quiet in here. You know why? No voices allowed. No voices allowed. Not my wife's, not my kids, not my business partners, not my parents, nobody's. I'm in it for me, in my own mind. The reason I can give so much to everybody else is because I'm good, because I'm in it with myself, period, end of story. And I've been talking about a lot of things, and the reason I'm going further down this rabbit hole of tune out everybody else is as I've gotten to know people, I'm like, oh, they're scared because their partner makes fun of them all the time. Like it's just very basic behavior, right? It's very basic behavior. And so I just don't want that for you anymore. Like, has anybody realized, guys, it's 400 trillion to 1. The odds of being in this fucking room right now is 400 trillion to 1. The fact that your mom and dad had sex at that exact second to create you is fucking insane. And we are wasting it away, and I just don't want you to do that. Mainly, because I get a high off of the email that you send me in 6 years about this suffocating conversation. Content and distribution. Content and distribution. You have to make stuff. Figure out what kind of content producer you are. Are you good at writing? Are you good at talking? Are you good in front of video? Everybody thinks, oh, video's the answer. Video's not the answer if you suck on video. Can you talk? Can you write? Are you charismatic in front of a camera? All three are tried and true. Video, written word, audio, they play forever. Figure out which one you're good at and go deep into that. Everybody's trying to make you fix all your shortcomings. Fuck your shortcomings. Triple down on your strengths. It is your biggest advantage, period. Leave this conference, figure out first what you want to sell. Actually, before that, figure out what you want your life to be. Do you really want all that money? Do you really want all that? What do you want? Figure that out, then figure out what you want to sell. Your time, your service, a product, I don't care, a festival, but figure out something you believe in that you sell. And then finally, number 3, figure out how to let the world know about it at the lowest possible cost. Today, if it's under 30-year-olds, that's Instagram influencers and Snapchat ads that are $3 CPMs. Everybody writes off Snapchat because Instagram copies all its features. That's exactly when I went all in on Snapchat the last 3 months, and I'm buying awareness at a price I've never seen before if the person's under 30. Be a practitioner. I get a lot of accolades. Yeah, Gary, why do you think I do all this content? So I do it. I built my personal brand not necessarily for the brand halo effect, to keep me in check, to always be on top of shit. I'm in the green room right now, tweeting and texting and consuming and creating content. I'm putting in work every day, work. And I know the nuances of a filter and a geolocation and the copy of a Facebook post. Like, everybody's talking about this stuff doesn't work. No, you don't work. So if you have ambition, if you fucking came to this conference, you clearly want something. So if that's the case, how do you not have 30 hours to go do research on how to do this shit for real? I'll give you a free resource on how to post ads on Facebook, how to find influencers on Instagram, how to do Snapchat better, how to do LinkedIn better. I'm gonna give you a free resource right now. You guys ready? Here it is. GOOGLE. You want something? Go fucking get it. It's called search engines. How do I post better on Instagram? Enter. My friends, I'm being serious. I know it's funny, but I'm flabbergasted by people hitting me up. Gary, how do I get a, I want to apply for, I saw you literally this snap on the way to this. Gary, I saw you hiring content creators. How do I do that? I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? You go to Vaynerchuk.com, asshole, and you apply. I mean, like, why do we need, you have to self-start. You have to self-start. If you believe like I do, that mobile devices have the consumer's attention, and that Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, YouTube, podcasts have the percentage of time. And by the way, this is not a debate, this is data. They own it. Besides games and utility, it's social networks. You may not like it, you may not like that your teenage girl duck faces 24 hours a day. It doesn't matter, because I've got news for you. Your 44-year-old sister's duck facing too. It's 2017. What do you think's coming next? Are you ready for augmented reality? Are you ready for machine learning, for AI, for messengers, for VR? I mean, look, how many people here are retiring within the next 10 years? And I don't mean you're gonna crush it and buy a fucking island. I mean you're old and you're fucking finished. Raise your hand if you're retiring in 10 years. Understood? Okay, for the 21 of you, you can take some of this with some level of grain of salt, but for the rest of you, everything I believe in, everything that is converting and creating your business opportunities in today's world did not exist 12 years ago. All of it. Not Facebook, not smartphones, not YouTube, not Snapchat, none of it. What do you think happens next? Can you imagine if I told you 10 years ago that you would prefer your teenage girl to take a drive with a stranger than drive herself? Would you believe that? We are living through massive social norm changes. Remember how weird it was to online date? Not so much anymore. We are living through massive human shifts. This is the biggest culture shift since the printing press. The internet is only roughly 20 years old in being a consumer product for all of us. This is just starting, and the level of disrespect or the level of, it's kind of something. The unbelievable nature of you not becoming ridiculously educated in this shit blows my mind. You cannot have the audacity for ambition in the future world without putting in hundreds of hours of homework to the nuances of how to create communications and distribute them on this device. Your ass out if you don't do it. And I don't want outsourcing to nieces, and I don't want fucking bullshit excuses, and I don't want to hear that you're not good on camera, then fucking right, Rick. I don't care. But you need to fucking make a decision today. Are you gonna allow yourself to buy bullshit programs for the rest of your life and come to shit like this? Or are you gonna finally fucking eat shit and do something about it? Are you gonna fucking pretend? Are you gonna make pretend you're a business person because it feels nice? Or are you gonna become a business person? Paying your big to look the part is a great business for other people. Eating shit for a decade and doing it for yourself is a good one for you. In that eating shit decade, if you actually get smart and stop fucking judging every new thing that comes along, and you know what's so funny to me? What's so funny to me is people that get fancy. Let me end with this, fancy. Fancy fucking excites the shit out of me. The amount of people that aren't where they wanna be and say, well, I don't have time for Facebook. I don't have time to learn another app like Snapchat, yet you're not winning. I don't get it, my man. I don't understand. You're not where you're at. You'd rather spend thousands of dollars on dumb shit to somebody teaching you some fucking secret that doesn't exist than you spending the 40 hours to learn the newest thing, even if it dies. Let me tell you the story about Social Cam. Social Cam came out 6 years ago. I spent fucking 50, 60, 100 hours on it, figuring it out, right? That's what I did. It worked for about 4 months, and then the whole thing collapsed and nobody gave a fuck about Social Cam. Waste of time, or in those learnings on a mobile first video platform did I learn what made me bet on Vine. Number 2, I bet on Vine. Vine comes out. Everybody's like, who gives a fuck, 6 seconds video, stupid. I'm like, not me. I'm gonna learn everything about this. I'm gonna be friends with everybody. What happens with Vine? Does pretty good. I start an agency representing a bunch of talent with Jerome Jar. We make a couple bucks, but I learn. What happens with Vine? Dies. But what happens next? Instagram video. And what happens in the last year for me on Instagram video? The last 4 years of me learning mobile first video dynamics on 2 things I wasted my time on, even though I had hundreds of millions of dollars, I wasn't too fucking fancy to put in the work at 2 o'clock in the morning because I'm fucking hungry and I back it the fuck up. Then Instagram comes, and then I hit pay dirt. 6 years in the making, a whole lot of losing along the way, but learning my craft. Learning my craft. I end with this, my friends in Utah. Do you actually know what the fuck you're doing? Are you actually putting in the work? Do you really want this that bad? Or do you want to make it look like you want it that bad? I challenge you and I hope to see you soon. Thank you. Of course.
So you talk a lot about self-awareness and knowing yourself. What does that mean for young people that have had a hard life or deal with a lot of different things that kind of kids shouldn't deal with at this age?
Mm-hmm.
So I know self-awareness in like knowing yourself, but how do you, like, what are your thoughts when you're trying to figure out yourself and you have to kind of deal with the baggage in your life? Like, you know, I never hear you talk about counseling or anything like that, so I'm just wondering, like, kind of your thoughts on more about self-awareness for these guys. I'm interested in.
Look, I think people that are growing up in the best environments of all time are struggling with self-awareness at 13 and 14.
Sure.
I mean, 98% of my company here in their 30s and 40s and 20s have no clue on self-awareness. So here's what I would say. I would say that I'm a big fan of just eating reality. I'm just a fan of it. You know, like the reality was I was never, like my dad My dad, I had my dad, but I didn't because he worked every hour. I never saw him. Missed every game, just didn't see him. Worked every hour. That was my reaction. Now I was happy. It was way better than he leaving or dying or, it was great. But like, I didn't have him. I could have done what my other friends who have workaholic parents do and dwelled. Be like, my dad's not in my baseball game. Or you don't. Look, I am not going to shortchange the extremities of all the things, all the cliches. Parents, drugs, murder, mental health, like all the things. The thing that I have not figured out is how to get the universe to give a fuck. So to answer your question, it's amazing to see people in good situations and bad situations go through a situation and do this. Like if I could give everybody a drug, it would be optimism. Right? Like if you're willing to look at all your shit, whatever it is, and by the way, everybody thinks their shit is the shit. Right? Like everybody's like, I've had people sit in this room one by one with me saying, if my dad didn't give me $100 million, I would have never been a loser because it all came too easy to me. Everybody thinks their shit's the shit because it's their life. Right? People that don't have parents and things, they laugh at that. They're like, fuck you. But that person thinks that's the shit. So it's about, I don't know. The reason I don't talk about a lot of things I don't know. I don't know how to recommend, counseling or how to build self-awareness or mental health. I try to stay away from things that I don't know because I think that would be detrimental to the things I do know. What I will say is, self-aware, so I don't know how to teach self-awareness. I just know it's the game. Once you know who you are, it manifests into self-esteem. You don't actually then give a fuck what, you sit here and just don't give a fuck what they say or any girl say, like you just don't care. It's crazy when you get there. That's like the fucking ultimate. You're just fucking living life like in the Matrix. You're just like running through shit. To actually not give up, especially at this age, that's what happened to me. I still think about it. How the fuck did I not give a fuck? Right? Because it's when you're like 13, 14, 15, like your friend, that's your whole life. I just remember not caring and I was just on some different shit in my head. So that's what I want for everybody. Because then you're fucking set.
How do you get there?
I don't know, man. That's why I don't talk about it, right? Like I just, honestly, I swear to God, if I knew how to get there, this whole thing would be a wrap. I'd own the jets, I'd own the world if I knew how to like get there and get people there, right? I try to get there by talking about it and maybe somebody's like, oh shit, that's kind of like me too. Let me go deeper into that. I actually do feel like that. I actually don't give a fuck when I do, like, I don't know, but God, it's big. Cause then peer pressure's out. Then you're just not getting dragged into anything you don't want to be doing.
Can I ask a question
Yeah.
that kind of goes
Yeah,
with
please.
that? So Nate, I'm gonna call you out a little bit on this. So, what do you do, or when you're talking to someone and trying to figure out what their passion is? And I know you talk a lot about what your passion is how you spend your time, right? So in speaking to our guys, and they're like, I don't know what I want to do, or I'm not really into anything. Kind of, what is your advice?
Listen, I get that fucking, my first book was called How to Cash In on Your Passion, which fucked me up because then everybody kept emailing me like, what's my passion? I'm like, I don't fucking know you. Like, I don't know, like I have no idea. The biggest thing you realize is a lot of people don't know or never find it, or, my belief is the only answer for any of them, right? For you, for anybody, is you gotta figure out how to try shit. Like that's the only, like you just never know what your favorite food was until you try it. If you only had chicken, you might have not known that hot dogs were the best. So that's what I love about the internet. These kids have so much option to like watch shit on YouTube, and so like my only answer to Nate or anybody like is just like try shit. And so like that's back to opportunity. Easy to try shit when you have hundreds of thousands of dollars in the bank and parents that take you to shit. You gotta hack the game, right? Like that's what's passionate for me about this today. This is me letting them try shit. Hear it a different way. Something could happen. Who knows? Maybe not. I'm willing to go 0 for 9, but you try. So like that to me, that's why I love the DM thing, right? Like you don't think 21 Savage is hitting you back, but he might. Crazy shit happens. People decide no before they try. You've just decided no because the system tells you no. You've been sold no. And by the way, not just you, The fucking world. Not tough situation, the world. Everybody's saying no. I just say yes. And then if it's a no, I don't give a fuck. You're gonna judge me that I lost? I don't give a fuck what you think. And that's why I get so into that. Because then you're not scared to try shit. Because when you don't give a fuck what anybody says about you failing, you love failing. I love losing. It is crazy. Because
I hear you say that all the time, and it is crazy that you say that. And
I love it.
About it all the time, because with him and YouTube, and it's like we partner on this. You know,
Yep.
like I hate being on camera. And
Yep.
That's like not my thing. So he does that, and I do a lot of like social media stuff and things like that, and partnering with him. But
you're thinking about distribution.
it bums me when something doesn't work and we think it's going to be great, and the idea of loving the failure, that always
I
trips
love
me
getting
up.
punched
Like,
in the mouth. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it.
What is it about the failure that you love or
I
that
want
drives
to.
you?
It makes me want to stick it to everybody who judged me when they judged my fail.
And that is true. I like that part.
Well, that's it. I like
just
it.
need to think more
No.
about that.
I actually love it. You just kind of like it.
I don't think I understand it yet. We haven't,
You know?
we
Yeah.
haven't scored that big. I mean,
Yeah,
maybe this is.
I get it. Like to me, it's yeah, it's like it's a chip on the shoulder. I loved being an underdog. I loved being like from Russia and not speaking English and like being small, like somewhere around third grade, I'm like, fuck, I'm not gonna be as good at sports as these other kids are getting real fucking tall. Like, you know, just like, you know, like I just loved it and I still love it. And it's really funny, now that I've made it in my little space, like I wanna do other shit. Cause I don't wanna, like, as soon as I won the wine game, I left. Cause I don't wanna be the top dog. I don't want people trying to get me. I wanna try to get them. You know? I love the grind. I love, you like that?
That's tough. That's tough. It's real shit too, because it's like when you at the top, it's like it's nowhere else to go. It's
It
like
sucks.
everybody is right at your neck, but when you always reaching for the top, then it's like that constant grind.
And I gotta tell you, man, and I'm telling you, my friend, this is the operating system of the universe. This is the only thing that matters. This is the only thing that matters. The attention on this is the game. And like that just, and like you can make an Instagram account. Like go ahead, like this one kid I'm watching on Musical.ly, he went from 0 to a hero in 4 minutes, 5 videos.
A problem that we have, like promoting our stuff, like on Instagram, everyone is like trying to promote and stuff.
Yeah.
So like, we're not getting heard because of that. So how do you avoid that?
You don't avoid it, you start doing different shit. You're doing what everybody else is doing. Let's put up a post. He listened to me and DM'd this hardware store, and now something good happened. You know what I would do if I were you? I would hit up everybody who's making funny videos and offer them free music.
That was my idea.
It's great, man. Just
Definitely what I was thinking.
guys, you need exposure. If you get some booty girl to like twerk behind your music, it could happen. Like you just need people to hear it. Right? If you got somebody like Daquan or somebody like with a funny account who just uses your beat or uses your song as the background music to the clip they're trying to put on, but you have to give, here's the thing that back to losing, that I understood. When I was low, nobody high gave a fuck. So I wasn't going to people that were high and said, do something for me. I was going to people that were high and saying, this is what I'm gonna do for you. And that's why I try to get people into the nobody gives a fuck about your problems mentality, because then you don't roll up on people asking or thinking that. Nobody's gonna put you on just cause. They're gonna put you on because they needed a beat for their shit. You just gave them one.
That's crazy. Yeah.
What else are you guys into? Like what else is in your world? Like what else are you thinking about?
Like me?
Yeah.
Like me personally?
Please.
Like since me coming into high school, like,
Yeah.
I developed like so many times like contracting. I used to do like sneaker things, like design art. So I'm like I really don't know like what direction to go because I have like so many talents, but it's just like so many capabilities. So I'm just like right now just living, just to see what's going on. Like I'm doing opportunities. Like I be trying to do sneakers, trying to get the clothing line started. trying to do a whole lot of stuff, but it's just like
Are you enjoying it?
actually like what I really enjoy. Like I'm a mentor. I like helping people.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm really trying to get into. But like right now, I really don't know my direction. So like I'm just
Maybe that's the direction. A lot of times I think the doing is the direction. Right? Like the reason I asked you if you're happy is if it's going good, like if you're happy, there's almost nothing to say. Right? Like I think, I think taste, when I hear that, that was just what I said earlier, right? Like try shit. Like if you're mentoring and sneakers and trying to start, like you're doing shit. If you're actually doing it. To me, the thing is, I know a kid, friend of mine, who's had a similar thing, and I was like, cool. And I like asked one more question. I realized he was doing it like for 45 minutes a day. But he had crazy ambitions. How many hours a day?
15, 16.
Yeah, like that's the only way. Now, you got school and you got some other shit you gotta take care of, but there's a lot of time.
Can I add something to what you said regarding
Please,
failure?
you just went through living it.
So if you don't fail on your next 5, 10, 15 attempts at whatever, you're not gonna get to that next step to find what you love. So if you're just sitting and thinking about what am I gonna do, what am I good at, what's my passion, and never actually do something, you'll get nowhere. But if you say, let me try this, I love the sneaker thing, and you fail on it, good. You'll be done with it and you'll go on to the next and on to the next. And if you look at the one thing I notice, and I'm sure you guys will agree, from anyone who's successful in anything, whether it's a business guy like Gary or an artist or anybody who's successful, the one thing they all have in common is they failed 99% of the time before they have a hit song, before they have a good business, before
Or they just worked, right? Like I would tell you straight up, I didn't fail a whole lot other than school because I knew that's what I was not gonna do. It's just that people don't realize that LeBron fucking took 4,000 shots in a day in 4th grade. Like what do you think they're doing? Like, listen, you guys know, this is what I saw at Mount Ida. I was like, fuck man, some of these kids are athletic freaks. But then they were just smoking blunts all day. I was like, oh, that's why didn't they make, now I understand. They weren't waking up at 5:30 in the morning, running, fucking hitting the gym, and then shooting for 9 hours a day. All my, like 50% of the kids in my suite, 301, they're like, I'm gonna be a rapper. Like, they didn't write all day. They never tried to get into studio. Like, they didn't do shit. They talked shit. Gotta do.
worst thing you can do is do nothing.
Pondering, complaining, dreaming. It's one and the same. If you're dreaming or if you're complaining, it's the same shit. It means you're just not doing shit.
One of the things I love that you often talk about is, well, not often, I think I've heard it like one or two times, is, people do look at the famous people, whether it's a celebrity or a sports person or a musician, and they kind of hate on them, like, oh, it was easy, or oh, it was this or that. They make excuses and kind of hating on these people, but
like, talent's real too. Like, serendipity happens. Like, Lil Yachty wasn't doing all that much work. Wrote a couple songs in Arkansas State and went. Happens. It's not the norm. But, listen, life is talent and work ethic. Nothing else. You can work 19 hours a day on beats. If you're not good enough, nothing good's gonna happen. That's just real. Which is why it's important to try and taste shit, because you might be the greatest fucking cook of all time.